Just wanted to report on what happened coming out of the July 2025 inaugural on politics meeting. So a group of us, including Yanir and myself and Lisa Toth, who is online, I believe, Bella Solomon, Joe Vipond, who's online, I think, Greta Fox I've seen, and Lotta Oxenen, uh, took over the lead role in writing probably a 6-page letter to the leadership of WHO. We got about 80 luminaries to endorse it. It's very small, but I'll be sharing these slides. So that list is on the right-hand side. And then I believe about 2,800 others who signed on online, researchers, patients, advocates of many stripes. So it was a big effort, carefully written letter to be forceful, but praiseworthy were warranted. And you can see in the left-hand side on the box with the gray shading here that in summary we are trying to impress upon the WHO that surgical masks are ineffective and counterproductive. That WHO has belatedly admitted that COVID is an airborne disease, and therefore that personal protective equipment is a reasonable part of a multi-pronged strategy. Sorry, I'm not doing the slideshow properly. Okay, just a couple more graphics just to give a sense of the uh, fallout from this letter. Yanir tweeted out a lot of very popular um, tweets in the late fall. This is one of mine from late October when we were trying to find more endorsers, 103,000 impressions. The graphic I used is from a 2021 article in PLOS One, one of the better studies showing what we've all known for decades, that N95s and FFP2 respirators, they are true respirators. Masks, such as the surgical mask, are not, and that's why the protection afforded by a real respirator is just night and day different. So the people in the US and elsewhere who said that masks don't work were either completely right or completely wrong, depending on what they meant by the word mask. And as a personal peeve of mine, the epidemiology on this is conflicting, but in my view, as an epidemiologist, it's useless. We should not be looking at infection rates or death rates or hospitalization rates and pretend that we know that there is such a thing as a intervention group who are using respirators or masks and a control group who are not. There's way too much overlap. We are not following people when they leave work. And of course, the signal is attenuated when people who are supposed to be in the intervention group end up getting COVID at home or in their communities. So on the top right, another tweet of mine that got some nice praise from various people for the quip that I made to The Guardian, which I'll show you in a minute, that the surgical mask is to a respirator what the typewriter is to a personal computer. It's obsolete. We do not miss typewriters. Mr. Smith and Mr. Corona may miss them, but the rest of the world does not. On the bottom right, a little interchange on Twitter with a US-based cardiologist at Hopkins. I think is very emblematic of a lot of other feedback I've gotten before and after this letter. He says, well, we're already wearing N95s when necessary, when we, the healthcare workers, are at risk, when we are in the presence of infected patients. And I somewhat intemperately said, how about retiring if you're giving no thought to do no harm to your own patients thanks to asymptomatic transmission? So we got a very good write-up in The Guardian in early January. We timed it to appear at the same time that WHO got their letter the day before. They were not ready to comment, which we expected, and Yanir has sent a follow-up letter to them just last week saying it's been a month or two. It's time that we met virtually and started to talk about these issues. So in addition,
30
we got a
seconds.
write-up in Forbes. I just wanted to point out we are in no way the first to come to this realization. Here's a very good video from the John Snow Project about the same issues. And if you have time to read, this is another private exchange on Facebook with a couple of clinicians. And again, it's all about how burdensome N95s are. We know better. We know when to wear them and when not to. And yeah, this guy, who's a very good clinician, talks about it should not be the patient's preference as to what they wear. He says, we're professionals. This isn't Burger King. So that's the mindset that we need to overcome, among others. Thank you.